Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, I wanted to make this video for some time with a topic being Middle East, Israel's influence on some Western countries. What's going on in Gaza, conflicts, demonstrations, everything related to the Middle East. So I thought that maybe have a little conversation with my good cousin Bogdan. So we're going to just have a friendly conversation. We're not going to solve problems, maybe, but at least we're going to have a back and forth uh, discussion. So how are you, Bogdan?
Oh, I'm great, and I'm happy to be talking to you about this topic. And let's proceed with whatever direction you would like to go.
Well, why is it that only certain countries on this planet are focused and very concerned with that little part from the Middle East or that country called Israel? What do you think it's this mirage of a few countries?
So yes, I think it's a very good starting point, and I recommend as the viewers, if you are looking at this, maybe you do some search. For example, do a Google search for how many armed conflicts are currently in the world. Do another search for how many civilian deaths are reported in wars over a certain year, and see. I did this, and for I found easily that there are more than 100 armed conflicts currently. That over 10,000 people, civilians, are dying in a year. So obviously, the world is not a, a heaven, a place where suddenly there is only one conflict in Israel, and we, all of us, like sybarites, we are suddenly turning attention to that's the everything that happens bad is there, and this is the only problem that we have to deal with. So uh, why is one of the answers would be, look who is in power. Like, look who has power in these Western countries, and what are their interests. So why is Blinken, why is him in that position, and how is somebody expecting that him is going to be in with an independent view when he is Zionist?
Well, the thing is, wouldn't be any specific problem or, as I say, connect any dots if there would be just an isolated case. Let's say you have a Romanian, I don't know, he's going to be working for the State Department. But when you have a few very important key positions, for instance, I'm in the United States of America, where you have Yellen, you have Mayorkas, you have Blinken, you have Schumer, you have all these guys really out there. And you don't have, for instance, Romanians. I'm using Romanians. I can use Hungarians. I can use French. I can use. It looks at least as if and since we already know that we are all the same, we perform the same under the same circumstances, the value relativism, if you want, then it makes you think of something else, including the lobby that is the Israeli lobby, AIPAC, is very, very powerful, but it's not the only one. Um, it's not necessarily what other people try to do, is how we react to what they do. So I'm surprised that, not surprised, but is it, do you think, because of history, because of the diaspora, the way the Israelis, were scattered at almost 2,000 years ago? Do you think it has anything to do with it? Because you don't have so many, I don't know, French immigrants in any other country, but Israel, you have Israelites, Jews, how you want to call them,
I
being
think if we
present.
analyze this conflict, there are many things that people can think about, and then they can draw their own conclusion. Now, the question that you raised is uh, how they have, even if they are scattered, The question is how they have so much influence. Because eventually we are Romanians living in Canada, United States, and in some ways we are Canadian. In some ways we still have a certain feeling for Romania. And in a certain conflict, in all honesty, if Romania would be involved, we would tend to to look a little bit subjective at the problem, right? So it's the question is how come they have so much influence, and starting from there, is it a conspiracy? Are they organized to always gain influence and power, or it's only by coincidence? And this is where I think if you look into history, it happened again and again and again when they got too much power, too much financial power, and a certain type of reaction from the host countries and was against them. And you can look over the history. So this wouldn't be an isolated case, and somehow it's you can see a certain pattern now. There is this moment in which they have the influence over society. They usually stay behind the scene. It's just that in this case Israel, which is dear to them, is in some kind of danger, and they get out from everywhere. Seinfeld is there, Stewart is there, Amy Goodman is there. Everyone, every kind of person that had some kind of audience, left, right,
They're activated.
they are suddenly reactivated and they appear, and they are working together, and somehow all of them have the same position. And they, when you talk about Palestinian crisis, you rarely see a Palestinian, almost nothing, a Palestinian and a Jew in a conversation. You will see Finkelstein, which is a self-hating Jew, and a Zionist. So pretty much that would be the most that you can get in a debate, is a self-hating Jew, which eventually is also Jew, and he will also support to some extent the Jewish culture and whatever, and then the Zionist. So it will be always, in some ways, turn the conversation from the real issue. And the real issue, for example, in this case, is how many people died over the years in this conflict. Can we start from there?
Well, the pattern that you were talking about, also you can see that in the finance, for instance, the prior directors of the Federal Reserve Bank, they were, like that. Again, Secretary of States were like that. But nevertheless, well, in conflicts, unfortunately, the first thing that dies is the truth, and then civilians are destroyed. The lives are destroyed. Countries, regions, societies. You see, if we were to compare, for instance, the evil Russians with the Ukrainians fighting for more than 2 years, and look at how do you call them, the casualties, the civilian casualties, the children, and compare that with, for instance, with Gaza, you can't help just you can't help noticing that the numbers are too great, too big in a short period of time. We know that Israel Defense Forces are perfect and they don't make mistakes, and they don't. But still, there was a communique. It wasn't actually a little video that Piers Morgan invited I think a spokesperson for the Israel's Defense Forces or something like this, and the guy, Israeli, knew how many Hamas they killed, but he couldn't answer how many civilians were killed. So Piers Morgan, which I really don't like, let's put it this way, he pressed him and said, "How come you can tell us 15,000 Hamas were killed, but you don't know how many civilians were killed?" And then I think the next day, the Israelis said, "Well, it's half of the number the guys in Gaza reported," and so on. The problem is, you mentioned something about earlier in our private conversation about the United Nations having the same, having this little, how should I put it? Their number was the same as the ones in Gaza, or wasn't that something like that?
So yes, also for the viewers, there is United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA. Just go there, and there is data on casualties, and they are saying there that they are not reporting right now. They have a graph starting from 2008 and everything to 2023 October. And if you look there, you can see how many Palestinian died, how many civilian Palestinians from 2000. So before the conflict, before 7th October. And you will see that actually the ratio is 20-1. So it is from 2008 to 2023, around 6,000 civilian Palestinian died, and 300, less than 300, maybe 160, more, it's 40 to 1. And this is information that is validated. Now, after 7th of October, United Nations says that it doesn't have enough information to continue that graph, and they are just giving various updates, but they are not 100% sure. Now, the latest update is in May 6th or May 8th, and they are saying that 25,000 civilian died. So less than the authority, the Palestinian
Gaza.
Authority, but still more than 20 times than the Israeli during the 7th October. So even the United Nations validates that it's a huge number of civilians who died there.
Yeah, well, the regular justification is like, for instance, when you have in the Second World War, and you say, well, the Romanian casualties of war, military troops that died, or I don't know, like the third or something. It was the German, the Russia, the Soviets, then the Germans, and then the Romanians or something, and then down the list there are some, I don't know, some liberators. And the reason was because we're smart, we know how to fight, therefore we have less casualties. So same here. I heard this justification saying that, yeah, well, but it doesn't mean that those guys did not attack us hard. The thing is, we were capable of defending ourselves so well that we had only this amount of casualties. So I heard this kind of justification. And um, what do you think about access to aid? I think that it's a tragedy over there. How many? There were like 2.5 million people in that piece of land, Gaza, which is a little bit bigger than Manhattan, isn't it? Something like that.
Yes, yes.
2.5 million
So there
people.
are articles. I also recommend search for Gaza Strip size compared with various cities. And there are articles that, depending on where you are in the United States, you will see how small and how huge the density of people is there. So the humanitarian situation should be extremely concerning. And this is because of density, because of the fact that Israeli army is pounding on a regular basis, and also Israeli army is blocking any aid or is controlling the aid at a level in which it's not practical. Now the question is, the whole operation it's justified by in my opinion, by a violation of human rights that I don't hear raised, which means let's eradicate Hamas, right? So there was an operation in 7th October, and then since then IDF should eradicate. So now, based on what criteria you can eradicate an organization? This, I think, is really linked with their culture, their Old Testament, in which they are killing without and not respecting individual rights, but collective punishment. So basically, let's say there are 30,000 Hamas fighters. I think it's very important to think about it. Not all of them participated in the operation. Not all of them were even privy to the operation. One of them could have been in vacation, whatever. So now, suddenly, after 7th of October, all of them should die because you decided that, and to me, that should be the first question that anybody that is involved with at the diplomatic level with the Zionist regime, ask them, please explain to me, how does this work? And for you, the viewers, imagine that you are part of any organization, and some part of the organization does a boo-boo somewhere. In what way is justified that you, as part of that organization, should be killed or should be jailed for or should be tortured? So to me, here is like the fact that people are dying, the fact that it's so much sufferings, it's appalling. But the reason is the fact, like we are humans, we are supposed to judge things. So the first thing, you cannot eradicate an organization. Not everybody in an organization is equally responsible. And I would like to ask you, why do you think nobody raises this question? These Hamas people are men that are parts of families. It's not like Hamas, they are not Martians, and they have brothers, sisters, and it's all of them are like, how are we supposed to see the Hamas? So we want to kill all of them. How can you be as a regime? How can you be how paranoid, like how genocidal this regime can be, that they can't just justify, okay, if you are Hamas, you should die, you should be eradicated. I still fail to understand.
Well, let's play the devil's advocate a little bit here. Well, Hamas is assigned, or no, it is according to Israelis, a designated terrorist organization. That's the first one. The second one, if you don't want to be targeted as a member of a terrorist organization with potentially causing harm, terrorism, you should not participate. If you are now a member, let's say, and we tell you we're going to get in Gaza and going to up, we give you one option. Don't be a member. Come out and say, I was a member, and you're not going to be probably killed. I'm just saying. So I don't know. I understand what you're saying, and I think it's it's to an extreme. But I think that if I have an organization, let's say a gang, and that gang wants to do bad stuff to me, and I see a gang around me or something like this, or that gang does to me, I think I turn like the Americans turned after September 11th with, I'm going to hit someone regardless who that is. Now, unfortunately, you can't be, I think, surgical in Gaza and just, kill the Hamas and all that. And Hamas, for many, is an ideology. These guys don't understand that. These guys are some baboons. And they don't understand that, yeah, you kill the human, the body, but the idea is going to get, unfortunately for some, even stronger.
So I get this. It's still that like sometimes the comparisons have to, I think, also should be in the context of the size and of the representativity. If a mafia organization in Sicily wins election, they are no longer mafia, even if they represent the mafia interest. So, and you cannot just go there and start to kill them. You have to find in what way they are mafia. So in here, like you cannot put Hamas with Al Qaeda or whatever. Nobody voted for Al Qaeda. They didn't represent. They were, let's say, a fringe group of people, more difficult to assess, international. But this Hamas, weren't they representing the Palestinian, even authorities in Gaza? So it's not like, in what way can this? Because if the representative of my population, you name it as being terrorist organization, that means that I, as a population, we are terrorists. So, which raises the question how you see us as community, if whatever we believe it represents us, suddenly it's a terrorist organization that has to be eradicated.
So then that could ooze into the civilians. I mean, the Nazis were Nazis over there, and the Germans voted what 33% in what 1933. The Nazis, the party, National Socialist Workers Party, whatever, got what 32, 33%. So there was voted for one third of the German population. So then when these guys came, they should have destroyed one third of the population who voted for these guys in 1933. Was 33, I think it was. I mean, well, you see, the thing of well, let's go to how these guys here are taking a position pro or against, obviously, what's going on over there. I know you want to talk about certain individuals in particular who, I don't know if you want to talk about it or not. You said that they just came out of the woodwork. I know those guys are clear why they're talking about.
I think also from the perspective of reasonable approach into solving, like in business, you establish a business goal and you execute it, and then you monitor the progress. It's the same in a war. This would be it's a project, and it's a project that is of high. It has to be highly effective, and also it generates a lot of human drama. So it has to be even more careful. So the ones that are taking into consideration the justification of invasion of Gaza Strip by destroying Hamas also should ask, all these people should ask, how, okay, first of all, it's not okay to kill indiscriminately. Second, how are you going to eradicate it? Practically speaking, like, show me a plan. How are you going to identify? Are they tattooed on their butt and it says Hamas? So that's one thing. Second, when you are in that highly densely populated area and you see something moving there, and you are with enough firepower to destroy that area, how are you going to know that in that place is a Hamas fighter, a child, an old person? So there is the justification to enter there is not there. Then show me how you intend to do it and when it's going to be success. Because to me, right now, it's a license to kill indiscriminately whomever you want, or by mistake. That's what
They're very
happens.
careful. They're very careful. We're told they're very careful. Dershowitz, Alan Dershowitz said they're very, very careful. Very
He's a
careful.
Palestinian, right?
Yeah,
Dershowitz.
yeah. Blinken went and met some Arab representatives here in the United States of America, and I was thinking, and when he went in the Middle East, I was thinking, how do you think these guys are going to look at Blinken, as an American or as something else? It's just laughable. But tell me about the protests. How do you think the protests are? The protests, pro-Palestinian protests or anti, as they call it, protests. How do you think the government, the U.S. government, for instance, reacted to that?
It is extremely interesting, the fact that actually the so-called left, the Democrats, which are not left by any means, they are like they are just another way of representing financial interest. Republican in a way, Democrats in another way. But Democrats are supposed to be with the small guy, so they would need to support in some ways the Palestinians, and the Republicans should in some ways, based on their base, and this is one interesting part, is that because of the so-called Judeo-Christian culture, whoever is watching takes a certain position. Like the Republicans, they think about their base, and they have to not like these protests. They have to not like it. Now, because they have to support Israel. Now, the Democrats should kind of support, because they usually have the campus are liberals, whatever. And it's how you can see how dirty the game and is that eventually the Democrats voted for support of Israel, and the Republicans divided kind of half exactly as all the bills to pass. So it's just a game. If let's say it's in 2 years from now and the Republican have the majority, and that moment all the Republican will vote and the Democrats will be split half, just in order to provide the illusion that there is really debate there. And regarding the campus, I am particularly disappointed by some very smart voices on the alternative media that are all like these protests should stop, they are unacceptable. And I'm wondering, isn't the process of protest related to a position of your government? And if the position of your government is too radical, in your opinion, you protest. And obviously, in this case with Israel, there is no doubt that the position of the administration and the opposition, so-called, is radically pro-Israel, which means there is no balance. And if there is no balance in the structures of power, then there is going to become necessary for people to protest. And this is exactly what happened. So if in United States administration and opposition would be more balanced, there would be no need for protest, because people would look there, okay, they are supporting Israel here, they are supporting Palestinian there, they are trying to make peace there, so why should I protest? So if you ask me, I really don't understand what exactly is wrong with this protest. And maybe you can tell me, when should people protest, if not when they believe that their government is crossing some lines?
Well, I was surprised, not surprised, but I was, I don't know, maybe a little bit put in a good mood when I saw how fast they entered with the police and how determined and how clear they cleared everything, like the border. That's what I'm saying. If they want, in half an hour, nobody crosses the border. It's just a matter of will, decision. And also how much money the Americans or the government immediately has available to send to Israel. They're going to send about like $2 billion after supposedly Biden said, I'm going to stop some aid over there, military aid. He's not going to do anything. These guys are going to continue to use our money to send it over there. But I was surprised how fast these guys entered. I mean, I expected it, but not that fast, and cleared it.
Yes, and the fact that the media is shaping the opinion as if those people that are protesting are anti. They are taking very specific death. Maybe a crazy guy from huge protest could say death to America, which, by the way, you don't know if that person was not planted. So you never know in a group. That doesn't mean
True,
that
true.
that person particularly represents the group in entirety, right? So then they take that specific part.
They focus on that one, and
Yes, yes, and then so they create, unfortunately, and I'm if somebody resisted for 30 minutes in our conversation, think about this Judeo-Christian. You feel like you were trained to think that you owe something to Israel. That's where everything starts. That's why you don't assess properly the situation. And think about this way: Israel is a state right now? Does this state, which is a Jewish state, what does
it does
Jewish
say that.
state means? Does it mean that he respects Jesus Christ? This is the Does the Jewish state of Israel means we say that Jesus Christ is the Son of God? So whomever thinks that they have to support Israel is a duty as a Christian, please go and look Jewish state of Israel, which is what we are dealing with. Are they recognizing Jesus Christ as the Son of God? And if they don't recognize Jesus Christ as the Son of God, then you, as a Christian, you don't have any responsibility for that state. Doesn't mean that you have to be against it, but in any case, you don't have to support it. And I think from here, you mentioned in one of your videos that Russians are thinking generations. The politicians here are thinking one election. That's in some ways also the problem. The politicians know, because of this Judeo-Christian confusion, that they have to support more Israel, because many in the constituencies believe somehow that they have to support Israel. And so it's not only the money. This is very successful in a manipulation of public opinion. It's not only the money that you insert as a parasite tribe, but it's the fact that you make the people, the host, believing that you deserve a certain level of attention, you deserve a certain level of treatment. And I think if we do this recording, at least a few people start to think about and don't feel responsible, and you don't need to support Israel in any way. You can be neutral.
Well, there are many things related to this issue that I think are just I mean, they are forced connected. They should not be connected. Remember, if I like the color black, it doesn't mean I hate the color white. It's just a preference. Or I'm indifferent, let's say, to pink or something like that. Um, I am against the so-called term Judeo-Christian. I'm totally against that, because if you think of it, I'm not only against it, but it's I think it's like a Trojan horse. I understand Christian, but when you put Judeo, it's like a Trojan horse in someone's culture. And I will always be against someone else's gods versus my gods. Um, Remember, this religion that these guys are practicing is a foreign religion. It belongs and it was created by a certain group, tribe, how we want to call it, for themselves. And all of that with the prophecies, it expanded to the rest of the world. And these guys, as you said, some of them have allegiance to, you can have allegiance to whomever you want. But also, I think we should be allowed to speak out what we think, good or bad, or wrong or right, about certain issues. And the thing with the Judeo-Christian culture, I refuse to accept that. I think we are a Western civilization based on Greek and ancient Rome. That's what we are, right? And then picked up from the Renaissance and so on, with the help of the Arabs, by the way. In the meantime,
This can be divisive, and and to me is like, if you want to lay the bridge, it's just okay. Let's say somebody is deeply Christian and believes in Jesus Christ and whatever. They still should look in the Jewish state of Israel, regardless. Like, if even if they don't believe that this is a Greek or whatever, they still look what Jewish state of Israel means. Search, look, and look in what way that state is linked with Christianism. And in this way, at least, they solve a problem for themselves, because
could
it's like,
liberate something inside.
like they don't necessarily have to come into a different understanding of the world, but from their own. That's where the sneaky part is, that they were bought into a certain view, which is Christianism, good, but then that, from that perspective, they were oriented
Hijack.
in such a way. And now, if you try to take them away from Christianism, it's too much. It's two steps, and that's where the manipulation comes. They know that if you talk with them as God doesn't exist, Christ is not, they will, it will be too much for them. They will not, it will be an attack on them. But just from your point of view, from your world view, Jesus Christ, first of all, another thing, Jesus Christ was Jew. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. He doesn't have anything to do. It could have been born in a Zulu virgin woman.
The prophecies, Bogdan, the
Yeah,
prophecies.
yeah. So which means that Jesus Christ is not Jew. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. So, bottom line, the people are dying in Gaza, and you here, from your belief, are supporting a government that is infested by Zionists, that are supporting a Jewish state that doesn't have anything to do with Christianism. And you are denying the fact that thousands of people of Palestinians died before 7th October, and you are always presented as if Israel is just responding. But how come so
Self-defense,
many
Bogdan.
civilians died?
Self-defense. Self-defense.
So they are always in self-defense, but the other people are dying 20 times more than them.
You can't make an omelet if you don't break a few eggs. You see, all these arguments are given to the baboons. So I'm just parroting back the
That's
arguments of
okay.
these
But
guys.
then, are you aware of any? Because if 6,000 people died from 2008, civilians, this is a crime to kill civilians. There would need to be a number of process, like trials, with army with army personnel from the Jewish state that killed these people, because you
They
cannot kill
do it
6,000.
domestically, internally, Bogdan. They do it internally.
Yeah.
Internally. Remember, they have the Torah and they have the Talmud. They can't have those guys judged by others. That's a different story. What do you think will be the outcome? This would be the last topic. What do you think will be or the no probabilities, possibilities, probabilities? What are the scenarios, the most likely scenarios with what's going on in Gaza? What do you think could be the outcomes? Some of them.
To me, the question is, on the Arab world, what leaders do they have? How
To
is
do
it
what?
possible
To
that
do what?
how is it possible that Jordan and Saudi Arabia is downing the drones and the missiles that are flying from Iran to Israel. That's what the Arab people should really take into consideration is, are these people that are in power representing my interest? In what way was Jordan or Saudi Arabia necessary to intervene to defend Israel? So taking this into consideration, in there it's a very rotten area, because the people in structure of power, even if only Putin is the bad guy, in there those people, they don't represent the interest of the people of the populations. So you can imagine that it's a boiling factor. The so-called Islamists, they are for sure exploiting a certain division in the society, and the fact that the leaders are not representing the population, and 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 this is why it may be so explosive, because right now the equilibrium is kept by the Jewish state being defended by United States Zionists and by most of the Arab leaders being bought. The question will be, will there be an uprising there, and in how many places? And I, as a person, am very concerned, because uh, this can escalate uh, up until the nuclear war, because we know the Jewish state, how serious it is, and the fact that they have the rights, they have divine rights, and also the other guys are also divine. They have a jihad to fight. So I'm more concerned in that area because of the fanaticism of the people involved than in other areas. And I think this is why this war should be so concerning, because think about Judaism, Christianism, Muslim, how many billions of people are living by this, and how many they would get involved at the emotional level. So possibilities for us are very dire, because the tension, especially the way the Jewish state approaches it, eradicate Hamas, they will just go there and they will inflame all the time. They will inflame all the time, and the spark will be there. And who's going to intervene? Who's going to make peace?
Well, I know that who said it? I can't remember exactly. I don't want to say it was Epicure. Who said it? Do no harm. The first thing in medicine, do no harm. So I think the Western countries should not participate. The first thing, to tell the truth, is not participate in a lie. So the first step into not committing a crime is not being involved in it, not being part of it. And I think, unfortunately, these baboons in charge of us, elected officials and not elected officials, appointed bureaucrats, they are getting us in a position where things escalate. And I think on the structure of some zealots, things could escalate quickly. And not only, and I'm not trying to minimize 30,000 civilians being destroyed, but much more than that. And you can't stop them. You can't. Israel doesn't listen to the United States of America, doesn't listen to anybody. And that's an independent country. But if it wouldn't have any influence on the United States of America, I would say, well, it's a strong country. Like, for instance, North Korea. I think it's a strong country, doesn't listen to anybody, but doesn't have influence on any other country on this planet. In China, Russia, United States of America, Japan, versus the other one, it's independent, but on the other hand, tells these guys, yeah, give me this, but I'm not going to do what you say. So I think could escalate quickly to something. I'm surprised, something much worse than it is. I'm surprised that there were, like, what, November, December, January, February, March. April, May, what, 7 months, and these guys did not clear Gaza yet. I would have expected the Israelis to go, I mean, door by door, house by house, and check it out. Not as they did, boom, 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 boom. And even if you walk, you would have been able to clear it in 7 months. It's a big, big city. I mean, what I'm it's just, I don't know what's going on over there really. And how are the other guys surviving? What are they eating? How are they shooting? Have you seen videos with shooting at one another? I haven't seen. I've seen only the Israeli doing things, but the other ones, where are the other ones? Pop, 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 pop. Nothing. Uh, I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't happen anything over there. I'm just saying 7 months with all your might in a urban area. I know it's hard, but Israel is strong with the Americans and others. I bet they are involved over there. Maybe not actively, but in many ways they are. So I'm afraid things could escalate to that point. And it was just a conversation. You want anything else to add to the issue or any other issue related to this?
Yeah. So the money, the international capital, and the international jewelry, okay, they have power. However, still the country is small, Israel, and it doesn't produce, it cannot produce enough for a huge war, which means that regardless of how important they feel they are, if you were to have decent leaders in the West, they will just stop the the arms, the munition deliveries, and Israel would immediately comply. Because it's a matter of production. It's a matter of so they couldn't do it by themselves. So this can be stopped immediately.
Yeah,
If
I think so.
if
I
if
think so.
in one day Biden wakes up for 5 minutes and signs that no munition, no guns, no nothing, and he doesn't answer to Netanyahu for 2 months. He just doesn't answer to him. In 2 months, the Jewish state will say, okay, let's make peace. So it wouldn't be difficult to make peace. That's where that's why we do this. You do this because it becomes so many things are not very complicated. It's just that the people in charge of us do not represent our interest. They represent international capital interest, which has various ONGs, various big business interests, and they are not representing ours because it wouldn't be difficult to stop Israel. Very simple. I don't think they are self-sufficient in any way. I'm not sure even in food if they are self-sufficient. So immediately you turn turn off the pipe, and they remain with the number of like numbers 100,000 billions, but they don't have food. They don't have anything. So and if we don't take over in Canada, in United States, if we don't have people that represent our interest, eventually it's going to be war more and more close to our homes, and our kids will have to suffer, and us.
Well, that's it for today. We can keep talking on and on. We're going to have some more just evening conversations from time to time. So thank you very much for being with me this evening, Bogdan. And guys, stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.